Hannah. I'm a tutor at Sky Academy, and we're looking at the topic of statistical analysis within the Year 11 standard course, and we're looking at exploring and describing data, MSS1. So in our previous video, we looked at part 1 of measures of spread, where we looked at range and IQR. And in this video, we're looking at measures of spread again, but we're looking at standard deviation. So if we have a look at this blue box here, standard deviation is the spread of data about the mean. So how far the data is spread around the mean. And we calculate standard deviation using the calculator. And so we'll go through the steps on how to find the standard deviation when we do an example. There's two types of standard deviation. There's the population one, or there's the sample standard deviation. So the population one is used for when you have data points or data for an entire population. So it doesn't have to be the entire population of the world. It could just be out of people who visit shops today. So say out of the people who visited Coles today, say Coles in Erina Fair, you have the data of how many things they brought for every single person who visited them, who visited that shop. So for everybody between the opening hours to the closing hours, you have the data from everybody who entered that store. Whereas the sample deviation is when you have data from a group or a sample of the population. And so it could be that you have the data for people who entered the Coles store in Erina Fair between hours of 2 and 3 p.m. So you just have a group of people compared to the whole population that entered the Coles store that day. So that's the difference between population and sample standard deviation. You have either the entire population of something, or you just have a little group of that population. And you calculate them the same way. You just press a different button on the calculator. So let's have a go at doing an example to calculate the spread of data about the mean, which just is the standard deviation. So here it says these scores show the number of items sold per customer over 30 minutes at a local grocery store. Find the population and the sample standard deviation. So they want us to find both. So first we'll find population, and then second we'll find the sample. So what you have to do is you use your calculator. All of the standard deviation is done using your calculator. So I have a Casio scientific calculator, and so I'm going to use the steps for the Casio one. If you don't have a Casio one, you might have to search up on YouTube how to find the standard deviation. So what you do is you press mode setup, which is the button next to the on one. And when you press mode setup, it comes up with a variety of options. And you want to press the number that has the words stat. So you want to press the number that has the words stat. So on some calculators, it might be number 2, and on other calculators, it might be number 3. So press whatever number is next to the word stat. And then you have a variety of options again, and you can press 2. And so now you have 2 columns, one for X and one for Y. And because we only have one set of data, we're just going to enter these values in the X column. So that's what you do. You just go ahead, you press 15 equals, and then 15 will go into the X column. And then 15 again, and then 16 again, and then 16 again, 16 again, 17, 18, and you do that for all of the data points for this data set. So once you've got all of your data points in your calculator, you can press AC. And when you press AC, it should come up with a 0 down the bottom. And that's telling you that your calculator is now in stat mode. And if you also look up the top, it should also say stat in the top very bar. So we know we're in stat mode. So anything we do on our calculator is going to be done according to the statistics mode. So now we can press Shift 1. And when you press Shift 1, more options come up. And you want to press the button 4 to get us into the VAR section. And then when you've done that, more options will come up. And this is where we differ between population and sample. So the population one is the one that looks like this. So on my calculator, it's button 3. And the sample standard deviation is the one that has the S next to it. And on my calculator, that's button 4. So if we do the population one first and you press 3, then you have to press equals. And it should come up with the standard deviation. And so I got 1.46. So once you've found the population standard deviation, press AC, it will clear it, and you go into Shift 1 again, press 4 to go into the VAR section, and then press 4 again. Then press equals, and it will tell you the sample standard deviation. And I got 1.53, and I rounded up from 1.52. So that's how you find the sample and population standard deviation for a data set. Now, once you've found the everything that you want to find in stats mode, you can also find the mean, you can find the Pearson's correlation coefficient. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can find in the stat mode. So once you've found everything that you want to find, you then have to press Shift 9, and it will come up with clear, and you press 2, which will be for the memory. Then you press yes, which is equals, and then you press AC. And that will get you out of stat mode, and you'll have to press mode setup 1 for comp mode. And so now anything you do on the calculator will be back to normal. So if you didn't clear the memory and go back into comp mode, then when you try to do fractions, it will turn out weird. Or if you try to do any sort of calculation on the calculator, it will be in accordance to the stat mode and not the normal comp mode. So you do have to remember to clear your memory, otherwise your calculator won't work and won't give you the answers that you'd normally get. And so then for the rest of your exam, you will have wrong answers. So it's very important to, once you've finished finding everything that you want to find in stat mode,